Hi, I'm with John Wade, AP's classic cameras expert, and today we're here to talk about what is probably the world's most complicated camera, the Compass.
Yes.
So John, can you tell us all about this camera?
Well, let me show it to you. It's here. And it comes a bit of a surprise. Before I demonstrate it completely to you, I'll just tell you something about the man who designed it. Now, he was a man who rejoiced under the name of Noel Pemberton Billing. And he was a bit of an entrepreneur. And I can never remember all the things he did, so I've written them down. But if I may, I will just read them out to you. Mr. Pemberton Billing was a designer of military equipment. He was a publisher, an actor, a theatre manager, a cinema manager. He designed a typewriter, which he called the Digit. He made furniture. He designed a flying boat called the Supermarine. He produced, he was a property developer. He was the MP for East Hertfordshire. He trained as a barrister. He launched a shipping business. He was a playwright and science fiction author. He invented self-lighting cigarettes, a projector which synchronised with a gramophone, a golf practicing device, a cloth measuring tool, and a helicopter which he called the Durotophil. And he also liked to bet.
Wow.
And one day, a friend of his bet him that he couldn't produce a fully functioning, complicated camera that contained everything that a big camera would, but would fit into a cigarette packet. And what he produced was the Compass.
My first question is, how do you find the time to do all that stuff?
I don't know.
And if he was an MP, I want to know why his constituents are writing in saying, where are you? Why are you not doing the job of an MP?
Well, nothing changes. So there you are. Shall I demonstrate?
Yes.
Let me open it first. We open it like that.
Okay.
Now, what we have is a very small camera, as you can see. We have a lens cap on the front, which has got a depth of field scale on it.
Right.
If I open it up like that, we have a retractable lens hood which comes out there.
Okay.
As normal, any normal camera needs shutter speeds, apertures, focusing. Shutter speeds are set around there. Apertures are set on a series of little rings and numbers there, which I'm going to come back to in a moment when I'll show you how to set it. What we have in the back is a viewfinder with a rangefinder beside it.
Okay.
And there's also a right angle viewfinder, so you can turn it round and you can use it like that.
Okay.
We have an extinction meter built into it, which is, so people know what an extinction meter is a thin sheet of glass graduated from black all the way to clear.
Right.
And we'll see how to use that in a moment.
Right.
Like big plate cameras of the day, we could also open up the back like this, and it had a ground glass screen.
Wow.
So it took film, which fitted into the back like that, and was in little sachets like that, which went in, you closed the back, you took out a dark slide in the front, and you could shoot it. But it also took roll film on a special roll film back. If I fold that in again, the back would detach. Now, I'm not going to detach it because it's a real nuisance to get back on again. But when you do that, you could add this.
Okay.
It's a special roll film back, which took its own roll film. Now, there is a roll of Compass film, and speaking like any collector, I assume there is a roll of Compass film in there. I bought it in the understanding that there would be a roll of film in there, but as any collector would tell you, I'm not going to open it to find out.
No. So this is a unique film. You could only get this film for this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There was a company called Cubit who also made a back for 8-to-8 film, which is like 35mm without sprocket holes.
Looks like a AA battery, doesn't it?
It does.
How many pictures would you get on a roll then?
6, I believe.
6, okay.
I think it was 6, yeah. A few other things which I haven't shown you. So if I fold out this small foot from the bottom there.
Yeah.
Okay. On the side here, we have something which is labelled panoramic head.
Okay.
We unscrew that, and we screw it into there, and we put it on a tripod. And then you can take 5 pictures at various click-stopped stops.
Like an early stitch panorama.
Absolutely. And when you develop it, you've got a set of 5 pictures which you can join together to make a panorama.
Fantastic.
On the other side, we have something called a stereoscopic head. That comes out, and again, it goes into there, and then you can take a picture there, keeping it steady on the tripod, you can move it sideways, take another picture, and then you've got a stereoscopic pair.
Okay, wow, so it's a stereo camera, it's a panoramic camera, it's like a roll film camera, it's a sheet film camera, and
Right.
it fits in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Shall we look at the tripod?
Yes, let's look at the tripod.
The rarest accessory you get with the camera is the tripod, which unscrews here. Get with it, have a talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Screws back in there, and then opens up like that.
Okay.
And to make it even higher, you can undo the little things here, and they will fold right down to make it higher.
Okay.
And of course, the compass will perch
On top.
on top of it like that. So, probably show.
Even its own little tripod.
That's right. Yeah, almost like a fountain pen.
Yeah.
So there you are. Would you like me to show you how you set the exposure?
Yes, please.
Okay. We use the extinction meter, which is the little thing on the back here. We pull out that slide, which is, as I mentioned before, is slightly graduated.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So you look through the viewfinder until the view just about disappears.
Okay.
Because it's back. And then you read off one of those tiny little numbers. Right. Okay. And you take that number and you set it on the shutter speed dial, which gives you the correct shutter speed for an aperture of 3.5.
Okay.
But you might not want to use 3.5.
Okay.
So over here we have a set of apertures which you can dial in like that.
Right.
And as you dial in the appropriate aperture, so a number appears in this small window here.
Right.
You take that number and you add it to the number you got from the extinction meter, and you set that on the shutter speed dial. Then you've got the correct shutter speed for the aperture you want to use. But you might want to also use a filter.
Okay.
So we have a series of filters which you can also dial in on this side.
They're built into the camera.
Built into the camera. Orange, yellow, green, and clear. And as you dial in the filters, another series of numbers appears in that little window. And you take that number and you add it to the number of the aperture, and you add it to the number you got for the extinction meter, and you take the result of that and add it onto the shutter speed dial, and then you've got the correct shutter speed for the aperture you're using and the filter you're using.
You had to be good at maths to use this camera, didn't you?
Yeah, well, a little bit I'd read up.
Oh, yeah, but... Yeah.
And took 24 by 36 frames, the same as a standard 35mm. So Mr. Pemberton Billin produced that in 1937. It existed for a couple of years until the Second World War broke out, 1939. It disappeared and was never seen again.
Was it made in the UK?
Ah, that's the point. He was British, of course, but he couldn't find an English company to make it. So he went to Switzerland.
Right.
And employed the Coultre, who were the watchmakers.
Okay.
So it was made by the Coultre ST, the Swiss company.
Okay.
And they made a series of them, which is now known as the Compass One. And there was some sort of design fault that Pemberton Billin didn't like. So anyone who bought a Compass One was notified, and they were allowed to send it back. They withdrew it, and they replaced it with the Compass Two. And presumably then destroy the Compass Ones. So if you find a Compass One these days, you're very lucky. One sold last year for a lot of money at one of the auction houses.
Wow, really?
And I was allowed to photograph it, but other than that, I've never seen a Compass One. They're very, very similar.
They're very valuable then.
They're very, I can't remember what it went for now, but a lot of money. I mean, these.
And this is the Compass 2.
This is the Compass 2 here. So that's it. No,
Fantastic.
I think it's probably one of the most complicated cameras ever made.
Well, it sounds like it. I've already forgotten all the things I'd have to do.
Well, I wasn't asked questions.
Let's have a
Yeah,
look.
play with it.
Okay. So first of all, this is this extinction.
Extinction meter,
I've
yeah.
not heard of that before.
Yeah.
So you pull this out. You look through here, and then you. Oh, there it is. Okay, that point there. That's where it's gone.
Yeah.
Now my eyesight is nowhere near good enough to even.
No, and I haven't got my reading glasses on. Take my word for it. Oh, that's
21 probably.
yes, there's of course I forgot to say there's a spirit level on the top.
Okay, the spirit level. That's handy as well. So 21, I worked out that that it comes to. So I take 21, and then what do I do with that number?
And then you add it onto this. This is the shutter speed dial here. See the numbers around there, as well as actual shutter speeds. And it's a clockwork shutter. It winds up like that.
Okay.
It's got 2 shutter releases, one for instantaneous, one for time exposure.
And I set 21 on top of there, or
Yeah, you would then set 21 against the little mark there. And with any luck, if I press the shutter release, it should go.
Cool.
And its shutter speeds run 4.5 seconds up to 5 hours. A rotary shutter.
What's the thing that's turning inside the lens cap?
That's a depth of field scale, so you can turn that round to the aperture in use.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And then
Okay.
read off the distances,
Okay.
which they used to call depth of focus in those days for some reason. But we call it depth of field these days.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was also a recommended snapshot mode that you could set the aperture to a certain aperture,
Snap.
etc.
What am I lining it up with? I'm lining it up with that. Is that right? No, what am I lining the words
Yes, that's a very good question, isn't it?
to the marker?
Yeah.
I think it is that mark
I
there.
think it
isn't
must be, yeah.
So put it on snap. So there I'm on snap mode, which has the number 6 next to it. Why did they stop making? Did the war, I presume, got in the way?
Yes, I think so. And to be honest, I don't think it was too successful.
Why?
I mean, if you had big pudgy hands, you know, actually operating it must have been a real pain.
Yeah. So it's done as a bet almost.
Yes, yeah. I mean, somebody bet this guy that he couldn't learn to fly in 24 hours, and he did. And then he opened some kind of aircraft factory. He was an amazing man.
Let's make a movie about this guy.
Yes, there is a book on him, I confess I haven't read, but he had a monocle. You might be surprised to know he was that sort of character. Yeah,
Amazing.
There's a picture of him somewhere with a monocle. In his,
So there's the filters.
yeah.
It doesn't tell you what the filters are, so you just go, oh, hang on, there's
Yeah,
yellow,
yeah.
there's a colour thing, there's a 0.
Yeah, that's just clear. It's not. There's not
Yeah.
ultraviolet or anything sophisticated like that.
Oh, there's green. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you now. P2. Yeah, okay. I'm getting it now. Wow, okay. I don't suppose you have any idea how many of these were made or how many left?
I can't say how many are left. I'm just trying to think. I think there might. No, I'm not going to commit myself. But it might have been like 3,000 or 5,000 were made, something like that. But I'm not going to commit myself on that. They are around. They're not super rare, but they are going up.
I guess the other issue, if I was around at the time and I was looking to buy a camera, I would be very loath to buy a camera where there's only one type of film that fits it and you can only get it from that company.
Yes.
And I'd be thinking, what if they go out of business, I've got a camera I can't buy film for anymore?
Yes.
That must have put some people
Yeah,
on. I thought,
yeah.
Stick with 35mm
Didn't seem
or
to worry Kodak, but
wide display or something. Yeah.
yeah. And also, I mean, if you were thinking about buying a camera back in 1937, would you really want all those complications?
Probably not, no. That's amazing. Now let's have a look at this. Pop this bit out again. This slips out from here, doesn't it?
That's it. I mean, that's it.
You got to see it, and then this comes down. That's pretty nice. But let's open the thingy up first.
Yeah, you'd have to open it on brief time.
And I have to, you have to
Yeah.
open the shutter.
Yeah, I think you want the shutter up, I think. And then we have 2 shutter releases. I press that one. I think that might open it, does it?
Why is there 2 shutter releases?
One for brief time
Okay.
and one for. Yeah. I tell you what, I don't think it's going to open on that, so you won't be able to focus it.
Okay.
You'll just have to make do with the viewfinder, which of course you've noticed is on the bottom of the camera. So you
Yeah.
use it, that's against your forehead. That's,
That's another oddity, isn't it?
yeah, and then of course it does that.
Folds up. I mean, it's a masterpiece of engineering, isn't it?
It is. I don't think in 1937 you would have found an English company to have made that, to be honest with you.
No.
I mean, the fact it's made by a watch company says it all really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, I mentioned it's got a rangefinder. That's what focuses it. It's on the big little thing here. When it's open, you turn that.
Okay.
And then you've got a rangefinder in that window and a viewfinder in that window.
Okay.
Or a right angle viewfinder in that window. There you go.
That's fantastic. So I don't know how often these get. If someone viewing this thinks, "I'd love this. It's great. I want one of these." I don't know how hard they are to find. You say they're not that difficult.
They're not. I'm not going to say they are super rare. You can find them at the. There's 3 big photographic auction houses currently in Britain, and they very often have one come up.
Okay.
But it would cost you about $2,500 now.
About $2,500.
Yeah, which isn't what I paid.
No. So you've got to really want one of these.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But I imagine it's probably in maybe an investment. But
yeah, I mean, there are collectors who collect on a whim, and there are collectors who really want something.
Yeah.
And if you're a real collector, you want one of those.
yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for giving us the tour of this camera. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the Compass. If you found it interesting and you'd like to learn more about some of the classic cameras that John is going to be talking about, including this one, then do visit, look at the link in our description, and I will take you to John's website where you can look at a selection of his books on collecting cameras. He's got a variety of them. He's got multiple ones. He's got a new one on snapshot photography
coming out on June the 30th on the history of snapshot photography.
Good. So also in the meantime, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Thank you very much.